Manchester United, who've been unbeatable up to now. Arsenal seeking their third league title in 4 years, and they've set a style that United are trying to emulate and even exceed. How far they've come, we are about to discover. United can also call on Neil Webb, who's missed the last 4 matches, but Paul Parker and Michael Phelan haven't made such progress. Webb's return is the only change from the team which locked horns with Liverpool here 13 days ago. Dennis Irwin and Clayton Blackmore will be the fullbacks. Which side they stay depends on the Arsenal approach. Alec Ferguson thought hard about bringing Andrei Kanchelskis into midfield, but he couldn't find the right formula. In all, 9 full internationals, the latest Ryan Giggs, who on Wednesday became the youngest player to represent Wales, still only 17, and with only 8 full First Division games behind him. And today, Giggs honoured as the young player of last month by the league sponsors, Barclays. Arsenal keeping their fingers crossed not only on the fitness of Adams, but also on their so far very successful signing Ian Wright, another absentee from the England ranks in midweek. George Graham has dropped Andy Linnigan, Michael Thomas and Anders Limpar from the team which last played in the First Division against Chelsea. Colin Pates keeps his place in the centre of defence alongside Adams. Paul Davis is back in favour again, and Kevin Campbell, ousted in attack by the arrival of Wright, has forced himself into the reckoning in midfield. Without dwelling too much on the past, the sheer magnitude of this match makes it a challenging assignment for today's referee, Terry Holbrook. The major challengers kick off against the champions. Recent meetings, very eventful, always entertaining, sometimes explosive. Most notably a year ago, when the behaviour of both sides provoked unprecedented punishments. Here's Blackmore. Hughes making the first surge through the centre for Manchester United. Webb. Arsenal, who have been leaking goals to the consternation of George Graham, and Manchester United appealing for a handball against Adams straight away. But the other side of the coin for Arsenal has been their capacity to grab goals themselves. But they set the defensive standards that Manchester United really have matched with their progress at the back this season. It really is a match full of fascination, and I'm sure 1 or 2 significant pointers for the months ahead. David Rocastle, these days in the centre of Arsenal's midfield. And here's Ian Wright, well remembered by United from his achievements against them with Crystal Palace, most notably at Wembley, of course. McClair, Giggs, now Hughes. That's great work from him. Webb rather got in the way. I think Hughes was looking further afield. Merson. It's Arsenal's ball. Paul Merson was a substitute not used for England last Wednesday. So many of these players involved in the midweek internationals, that possibly will be a factor as well. Brian Robson, who played for England for the 90th time. And Colin Pates, who's had such limited opportunity, but I can tell you is highly respected by his clubmates. McClair trying to link up with Hughes. Adams in there. Merson. Smith showing well, boosted by his winning goal for England in midweek. It was an important night for him. Here's Kevin Campbell, who's got such strength and plenty of ambition as well. But all credit to Dennis Irwin, who is a more natural right-back, but starting on the left, where he has been playing recently for United. Arsenal have a corner. Campbell and Wright waiting by the near post. Adams is there as well, and Schmeichel above them all. And he's got this marvellous throw, and he wanted to use it, but there was nowhere to go. And he still picks out Hughes. And Manchester United with a direct route here. Giggs drawing Adams across. Giggs will get there first. It's a corner off the Arsenal captain. And the Stretford end start to just turn up the volume. Appreciating a move started at the other end of the ground. Bruce is coming in on this one. And it's Giggs! It's come back out again to Blackmore. McClare seemed to duck under the cross. The ball stayed in play. And Arsenal move forward with some thought. Davis to Rocastle, and now Wright, and it ran unkindly for him. Off the heel of Irwin. The crowd still buzzing about the proximity Manchester United had to a goal. Ryan Giggs battered it towards the near post where David Seaman was standing. Arsenal didn't deal at all well with the corner. Here was Giggs, and I think it hit the post. Campbell, he's got Wright to his right. Merson and Smith in the centre. And Wright gets the cross in, it's a good one too, and Smith actually finding a little too much pace on the ball. Ince. Giggs might get it down. Hughes does, and it's deflected momentarily. David Seaman just started to worry. He was going the other way, but the ball spinning wide of the goal, but behind for the corner. Adams looking at Pallister again. Oh, and it's lined up by Rocastle inadvertently for Pallister. He didn't expect to get the ball by that route. It's another corner on the near side this time. David Rocastle was a little flat-footed then. Nearly cost his team a goal to Gary Pallister. Smith, I think, had the final touch. But Adams again clearly has the responsibility of stopping Gary Pallister getting in a header if Manchester United, as they're looking to do, it seems here, take the outswinging corner. Pallister gets the better of Adams. Giggs, and scuffed away by Adams this time after the ball rather got stuck under his studs. The insurance factor on the bench, if Adams or indeed Pates breaks down, is Andy Linnigan. It's a great jump by Pallister. Ince takes it on at speed. Giggs acts as a decoy. Well, Arsenal were cut aside by an individual thrust here. And Paul Ince, who would love to be able to net more regularly for Manchester United, certainly can console himself that there was a lot of class in the run and plenty of steam in the shot, if not the accuracy. Rocastle. And Bruce is hurt, and Terry Holbrook stopping the game straight away, very sensibly. Alec Ferguson, anxious. It was an injury that occurred in that collision. Well, it's certainly a match for strong bodies and stout hearts. Oh, missed completely by Webb. And Rocastle, a central figure again. And he looks to trip Schmeichel, and it's in! A goal for Arsenal. David Rocastle via the bar, and I think the back of the Manchester United goalkeeper. A goal greatly appreciated on the Arsenal bench. David Rocastle, it's been a renaissance for him this season after a couple of years when he's really been out of sorts. But this was vintage Rocastle, getting the better of Robson to start with, seeing where Schmeichel was, lofting the ball over him, off the bar, off the goalkeeper and in. 6 minutes to go to half-time. It would have come out off the bar. Campbell can't get it away. Played in with plenty of thought towards Hughes by Owen, and a terrific save from David Seaman. Hughes spinning into the shot. And Manchester United finding a magnificent moment of their own to try and match David Rocastle at the other end. But Seaman stopped it going in. That's Pallister. And then Pates. The first priority for Arsenal here is to see it through to half-time. It's only a matter of seconds plus stoppage time. Giggs, Robson, and Bruce, I think, got the final touch. Steve Bruce, 1-1 it is. And Arsenal hang their heads. Arsenal will feel that they were caught short at the short corner. Robson might have scored, Bruce did. And David Seaman left to complain, a lack of reaction around him. And how often now Bruce contributes in an attacking sense. And he's already taken his tally for the season to 4, to add to the 19 he got for Manchester United last season. The centre-back with the scoring touch. Merson. Who's coming on this one? Not Campbell, it was McClare. Oh, and it's almost a shame to stop it. But Terry Holbrook has to apply the letter of the law in terms of timekeeping. David Rocastle with a wonderful goal via the bar, and Peter Schmeichel to turn it for Arsenal. But Steve Bruce steering in an equaliser just when Manchester United needed it. And I can't wait for the second half to start. Manchester United 1, Arsenal 1. Before the second half gets underway, let's just have another look at that Manchester United equaliser and a possible suspicion of offside. Not when Ryan Giggs plays in the cross. As you can see in the middle, all the Manchester United players are in a legitimate position. The ball goes towards Brian Robson. Now, if Robson touches the ball there, and it's a debatable point, is Bruce looking along that line with Tony Adams, the Arsenal captain? Is he just nearer the goal? If he is, he's technically in an offside position. Terry Holbrook right on the spot. It's a matter of record now. Steve Bruce's goal, and it's 1-1 at half-time. The events of the last 7 minutes of the first half, summing up Arsenal's season so far, really. A great capacity to score, but not the diligence in defence, which was their trademark last season, and they've now conceded 18 goals in the First Division, which was all they conceded in the entire campaign last time. Giggs. Ince having to turn away from looking towards Schmeichel, and he did it to bring in Irwin. It could have been handball by Hughes, but the referee regarded it as not intentional. And it's all got rather muddled through the centre, but Manchester United still marauding. And the thoughtful pass in the end came from David Seaman to Winterburn. 2 up for Arsenal, Smith and Wright, of course. It was very important for United not to let Arsenal go in a goal up, and Steve Bruce was the saviour in that respect, as he has been so often. Blackmore. Hughes happy that the ball came into the shadows. He's only got Giggs in the centre. They weren't on the same wavelength then, the two Welshmen. Ince might be able to hurt Arsenal here. McClare. And now Webb. That'll be a corner, and Webb went for goal when, to his left, Brian Robson was beckoning for the ball, and in the end beseeching Webb to give him the pass. Now, will the sunlight upset David Seaman here? Streaming into his eyes. First across is Giggs! Well, an identical position to that in which he found himself in the first half when he wrapped the Arsenal post. It was a very alert play to get to the ball. And you make no concessions for the youth of Ryan Giggs. He doesn't need it. He looks the part in this company. Pallister. Really both sides coming out for the second half, starting out all over again in more ways than one. Oh, it's kept in, and Giggs and Winterburn. Arsenal were hoping that the ball would run out of play, but they reckon without Neil Webb on the far side first of all, and Giggs took it up from there, and United have a corner. Well, with so many clubs still putting their faith in balls played in with a lower trajectory towards the near post, Manchester United have different ideas. They believe that Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce can get first to a ball that's hung up, as the players would say. George Graham in the middle of your picture, Stuart Houston, his assistant, both former Manchester United players. Rocastle reading it well, but wanting to over-elaborate on the ball. Hughes, Giggs, no offside. And Lee Dixon is angry with the linesman. Alec Ferguson has to ponder on a chance that's gone away for his team. It's a goal kick. And Hughes with a pass that found Ryan Giggs in the clear, but he didn't really appreciate it. And possibly that was the first moment where, in this match, he has looked as though he's lacked experience. Ince, Arsenal are creaking here. There is an offside this time. And Manchester United aren't happy about it. And Giggs across again. Well, it was a genuine attempt to get to the ball, and he might have even achieved his aim, but in doing so, he certainly caught Dixon. It's a talking to from Terry Holbrook. I'd be surprised if it was anything more than that. Message given, and I think understood. Well, his eyes were on the ball. And from that angle, he certainly made contact with it. And Gary Lewin has got Lee Dixon back on his feet. George Graham, who was fined heavily by Arsenal, the ultimate responsibility laid at his door for what happened here last year. But I stress again, there's been no sign of that lack of spirit surfacing in this match. United move up and catch right offside. Now we're reaching the stage where one wonders about perhaps some travel weariness. Certain players cope better than most with international duty in midweek. Robson. Well, that was almost more in keeping with the Rugby World Cup. A little scrum on the edge of the area. And now it's a free kick. David Rocastle penalised. Mark Hughes again by sheer persistence, embarrassing Arsenal. Well, the sun is still shining brightly into David Seaman's eyes. No sign of a cap for the goalkeeper. That might be the sign of the ball arriving, though, if Manchester United can get a shot wide of the wall. Blackmore is capable of that. Webb with the second ball in, and it's Giggs again with that speed off the mark and quickness of thought as well. He was off and running as Webb hooked it in, and that's why he got there first. Ryan Giggs is prominent for Manchester United. Schmeichel and Pallister confused each other. Pallister is still down, and straight away Kevin Campbell urged the referee to stop the game. And they're calling on Jim McGregor, the Manchester United physio, as a matter of some urgency. Schmeichel came. Pallister, if he tried to pull out, couldn't. And in the medical sense, one hopes that there's nothing disastrous at all. It looks that way, happily. It's a change for Manchester United. Neil Webb is taken off and is unhappy to be asked to leave. But the Ukrainian Andrei Kanchelskis, at a crucial stage of the match, is being asked to inject some speed and some penetration down the United right. And Kanchelskis immediately giving Manchester United a better shape, because he wants to play in this wide area. He's wide of McClare at the moment. Giggs is to the left, but McClare hits the post. Kanchelskis, his first touch as the ball rocketed back to him off the foot of the post. It came too quickly in speed and too quickly in time after his arrival. A great try from Brian McClare. Blackmore's cross. It's Ince with the header, and a good one too. Seaman sprawling down to rather shovel it behind. Bruce coming in, Robson coming in, Seaman holding on. Michael Thomas left out today, wondering whether he might get a late chance. Wright getting the better of Irwin. Campbell in the centre, holding back. And Wright losing out to Robson, and he stayed down. And there weren't any frantic Arsenal appeals for a penalty. Wright seemed to hurt himself in the fall. Kanchelskis. McClare, and he can't keep it in. Well, finally a break in play. Ian Wright will need some attention. His problem is physical. The problem for Manchester United is mental, of disappointment. Blackmore and Giggs working something out here. It was Dixon first of all. Adams using his bulk to keep Manchester United at bay. Back from Giggs again, helped on towards McClare. It was Robson's flick. And Brian McClare, who has this knack of arriving in the most crowded of penalty areas in a manner which embarrasses the opposition. Controlled it well, but was challenged as he shot. Maybe the last chance. And we've had a goal apiece, and time is very nearly up. Blackmore didn't get the best of bounces then. Hughes backing on. Pates trying to get it right, which he did just about for Arsenal. Another look at the watch from referee Holbrook. Manchester United remain unbeaten, but Arsenal leave Old Trafford unbowed. David Rocastle gave the champions the lead. Steve Bruce equalised the 2 goals in a 6-minute spell close to half-time. It really was a colossus of a confrontation. For Arsenal, satisfaction in avoiding defeat. Manchester United managing to maintain the 7-point gap over the champions. It was the power game with a vengeance. And as a final word, the behaviour of all the players, exemplary. Manchester United won, Arsenal won.
It was always going to be a difficult game for both sides. I think that was shown in the pace of the game and the competitiveness of the two teams. I don't think there was much in it at the end of the day. But I think in the big games you have to take half chances, and we get 2 or 3. You know, young Ryan Giggs hit the post the first half, and Brian McClare in the second half hits the post, and there were 1 or 2 little things round about the edge of the box or inside the box which you want to take in the big matches, and I think that would have made a difference to us.
Obviously the boys are pleased with the result, but losing the goal before half-time, we're very disappointed with that.
Especially after your moment of real magic. What do you remember about it?
Not a lot really, just the lads jumping on me after saying what a goal, and it was very hard. Yeah, I had to concentrate fully on the rest of the game rather than thinking about back to the goal, and after the game in the dressing room, that's when you could try and relax a bit more.
Did you see Peter Schmeichel off his line straight away when you got the ball?
I went on a dribble and I took a quick glimpse and saw him off the line and just went for it, and luckily it worked.
I thought overall we were maybe a little bit unlucky when we hit the woodwork a couple of times, but you've got to take the rough with the smooth, and it was a draw, and that's always going to be said about it.
And you came in like the cavalry again with the rescue act with the equalising goal.
I think that must be the slightest header of a touch I think I've ever got. I don't know where the hell it hit me, but Pop got a little touch to it and took me all off, and I think it